ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वापदान्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमस्ते। सप्तकाञ्चन गौरंगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी पुष्पान्नुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमामि विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवांचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। So today we'll continue with the chapter 2. This is a third class on chapter 2, if I remember correctly. Welcome everyone one more time. Contents of Bhagavad Gita summarized, and we were looking at the properties of the soul, and I wanted to discuss the amazing shloka. Did everyone read today and come? Till what verse did you read? Till what
53.
verse?
53.
Nice, thank you. Is there anybody who did not read? It's okay to say, I'm not going to penalize you. Anyone who did not read and come? Okay, so I'm going to take that everybody read and came. Okay. Very good class. So, we'll talk about this one. So, this is an important shlok to understand. Some look at the soul as amazing. Some people say that the soul, some describe the soul as amazing, and then some hear at the soul as amazing. But despite of doing all these three things, very few can actually understand what the soul is. All right. So when Prabhupada explains, look, describe, and hear. So people who are looking at the soul as amazing is people are amazing, or soul is amazing, or looking is amazing. So basically, it's a very nice. So basically, there is a saying that we, in a conditioned life, I think we spoke about the 4 defects of a conditioned soul, right? What are the 4 defects of a conditioned soul? You can raise your hand and tell me. What are the 4 defects of a conditioned soul? 4 defects. Yeah, Anvya Mataji?
Yeah, the conditioned souls are always illusioned. They have imperfect senses. They have a tendency to cheat others.
Yeah.
And they are one I can't remember.
Help your classmate. Help your classmate. Commit mistakes. So
yes,
there's a sequence there. There's a little bit of a sequence there. Easy way to remember that. Thank you. That because the conditioned soul has imperfect senses, we can't do anything about it. Can we do something about it? We are born with imperfect senses. There's nothing much we can do about it. Because of the imperfect senses, we are in illusion. We see something as something. And because of being in illusion, we commit mistakes. So these 3 things are okay. That something which are somewhat beyond our control. But the tendency to cheat is something which is like completely because of the impure heart. It's not because of the imperfect senses. So that way, out of all the 4 defects, the most dangerous defect is tendency to cheat. Now, when we are looking at the soul amazing, it's okay, we can say because of the imperfect senses, because I really can't see the soul. I don't have that vision. Yeah, anybody here has seen the soul? 1/10,000 part of a tip of a hair. Anybody has seen the soul? Yeah.
No, Mataji. No, Mataji.
Even the most powerful microscopes designed by the human being has been unable to show the soul, right? Because of the imperfect senses. So that way, that's why people, even though they are looking, or even though we are hearing about the soul, but we still cannot perceive, because our hearing is limited to whatever domain of experience a conditioned soul has. Like all of you have heard about the story of a frog in a well and a frog in the ocean that Prabhupada talks about. Everybody knows the story of a frog in a well and a frog in the ocean? If no, then
Yes,
tell me.
Mataji.
Huh?
Yes, we know the story.
Okay, you know. Is there anybody who does not know the story? Nikhil Rabu does not know the story. Okay. Anvya Mataji, maybe you can tell us the story.
Yes, there is a frog in a well, and one day another frog comes, and he's from the ocean. So this frog in the well asks, "From where did you come?" So he says, "I came from an ocean." So this frog in the well doesn't know what an ocean is. So he says, "It's a much, much big water body than this well." So the frog in the well thinks, how much big will it be? 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger, 10 times bigger, can't be much bigger than that. So the one who is in the well cannot imagine how big the ocean is.
Yes. So basically, we are trying to imagine the domain of the spiritual world or the power of the soul, depending on our little experience in this material world, or maybe limited to this particular lifetime. So we cannot understand. Describe the soul as amazing. When we say describe the soul as amazing, we are probably describing the property or the quality of other individual. And Krishna says in 10th chapter, I am an ability in a man, right? In that verse, what is that verse? Prabhu Ashmi Suryaha Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. So Parasham Nishu. So I'm an ability in a man. So if anybody has any kind of an ability, that is actually coming from Krishna. So but we don't actually give credit to Krishna as being an ability in the other person. We give ability, we actually give it to somewhere else. So that is why despite of looking at the soul as amazing, hearing the soul as amazing, describing the soul as amazing, we don't understand what the soul is. Okay, you have to understand this well. Read the purport. Prabhupada gives a very nice purport of this particular verse. And the soul is the same size in every single individual, in every single living entity, whether moving or non-moving, whether living on the land or living in the air or living on the water. The same size soul. Yes, different soul, different individuality. Yes, everyone agrees, different individuality or same individuality. Different individuality, every soul has its own individuality or same individuality. What is it?
Different individuality.
Different
Each one
individuality.
is unique, Mataji, yes.
How do you say that? How do you prove this is different individuality? Where is a reference in Bhagavad Gita in this chapter?
Verse number 12.
What is it? What is it? What is it? Tell me.
Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Very nice. Very nice. So Krishna has already established the individuality by saying, separating, never was there a time when I or Krishna, you or Arjun, and all these kings or other kings as soul did not exist, will not exist, or were not existing, or are not existing, right? So in 3 domains. So every soul has its own individuality. Okay. I just wanted to bring that up, and then we can go to the third section of this particular chapter, from verse 31 to 38, where Krishna talks about karma kand. So this is an answer to which question of Krishna, Arjun? Which reason of Arjun? Arjun gave 4 reasons, na? In first chapter, he's not going to fight. So when Krishna describes the karma kand section of Bhagavad Gita in this particular chapter, this is an answer To which reason of Arjun for not fighting? Mahabhai. Ambika Mataji.
No enjoyment,
Very
Mataji.
nice. No enjoyment. So he says, even if I win the kingdom equivalent to the 3 worlds, I will still not be able to enjoy. So Krishna is saying, if you die in the battle, he'll be promoted to heavenly planet, and if you win the battle, you'll rule the earth. So you will enjoy. Okay, so this is an important verse. There are 2 verses in Bhagavad Gita which I can think of. If there are more, you can tell me. Where Krishna talks about Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. One is 231, which is the other one. Anvya Mataji, which is the other one. 231 and which one? So many years.
Yes,
Huh?
Mataji.
Okay, but I'm not going to put you in
Actually,
the
when
spot.
you ask questions, we realize we haven't read through the lines.
No, it's 231 and 931. Okay, 9 chapter verse 31 and second chapter 31, where Prabhupada talks about Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma, which basically means what? What is Sanatan Dharma and what is Swadharma? In a conditioned state of being, one has responsibility in the conditioned life, and then there is a constitutional responsibility, right? Dharma means constitutional nature, right? Okay, what does dharma mean when Prabhupada talks about the word dharam? It means that it's a constitutional nature. Like Prabhupada explains, for example, the constitutional nature of a chili is to be bitter. If the chili is sweet, it's not chili. Constitutional nature of a sugar is to be sweet. If it is not sweet, it is not sugar. Like that. So in Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma, when one is in a conditioned stage of life, then one has prescribed duties which come under the category of Varnashram, where the goal is the same, it's progress towards liberation. But when one is situated in the liberated state of life, then these kind of duties don't exist. What exists is the spiritual duties. Then there is no concept of Varnashram Dharma. Okay, but we have to understand that we are not in the which level of dharma are we in, and act accordingly. Don't try to don't try to bypass. There is a word called spiritual bypass. Does anyone know the word spiritual bypass? What does it mean, spiritual bypass? It's a very big concept. I'm not going to go into detail, but I just want to know if you know the word. Do you know the word spiritual bypass? Basically, Krishna is saying don't spiritual bypass. Then does not, so Krishna is not supporting artificial renunciation and acceptance of sannyas by a Kshatriya. Yeah, anybody knows what does the word spiritual bypassing mean? Or if you would like to. Ah,
You had mentioned this term in 5:45 a.m. class.
mention the term, but tell me the meaning.
Meaning, don't ignore your duties. If there's a sometimes we have to fix our problems. We cannot just ignore the real problem that exists and just say, oh, I'll be detached from this and I'll just sit and chant and not face the problem and not try to find a real practical solution to it. It's like
Right, okay.
bypassing.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you. So the Arjun is trying to, in some way, do spiritual bypass. I have learned from Srila Prabhupada that we have 3 levels of existence: physical, emotional, and spiritual. Okay, so if one has to get to the spiritual level of existence, it's not that I can artificially bypass physical and emotional and directly go to the spiritual level of existence. Yes, Hare Krishna chanting does put us, makes the door open to go to the spiritual level of existence very easily. But Arjun, so what Arjun is trying to do, which represents us as well, that because of the fear, because of the frustration, he just wants to not take care of his physical and emotional or psychophysical nature. Like he's a Kshatriya, right? He needs a kingdom to rule. and he has this psychophysical nature to be protective, administrative, and to live by taxes, all these things. But what is he saying, Krishna? That I'm going to go in the forest and take and eat fruits from the forest and live in the forest so my family can live. But he's not thinking about his own psychophysical needs. Like that, sometimes we go to Krishna or take to Krishna consciousness because of some sort of a frustration, which is okay. I mean, Krishna says anyone who comes to him is a Mahatma, but still, it makes it difficult for a person to stay in Krishna consciousness. So it is better. Now, is Krishna telling Arjun that, okay, you don't take care of your psychophysical nature and directly go to the spiritual existence because you're a soul and soul has no need for food, soul has no need for a kingdom, soul has no need for a fight? Is Krishna telling all this to Arjun?
No, Mataji.
He's saying-
He's telling to do his prescribed duty.
He's telling him to actually go get up and fight, right? Get up and fight. So basically, just pay attention. Let's pay attention to our own lives, that we are not going to take the principles of Krishna consciousness out of fear or frustration or anger, like which we will discuss in elaboration in 4th chapter. That's called bypassing. Bypass our psychophysical nature and directly take to Krishna because it looks more easy, not because I'm ready, not because I'm really Krishna conscious and I'm on a liberated platform. Okay, it's a deep concept, but just know the word spiritual bypassing. So karma kanda basically means regulated sense gratification. So which means that a person is aware that for me to gratify my senses, it does not depend on me. It actually depends on the higher authorities. So the person is going to follow some rituals, some sacrifices, some fruitive regulations. And that way, because it is regulated, there is no sin, which means that there is the tendency to fall down in the lower planets is low because it's regulated. For example, somebody can be in a mafia and steal and rob and do everything and get money and then could do sense gratification. That's one way, hai na? And the other way is somebody is worshipping Mother Lakshmi and somebody is worshipping the demigods in a prescribed manner and then works to get the money and then do sense gratification. Which of the two is regulated sense gratification out of the scenarios I described? Which of the two is a regulated sense gratification?
Of course, worshipping Lakshmi and doing the hard work.
So the person in mafia and smuggling and robbing and stealing, that person is pakka going to the hell. But a person who is also getting the riches to satisfy the senses by sacrifices is also satisfying the senses in a regulated manner, but is not going to end up in hell. Basically, it opens a door to heavenly planets, but there is no Krishna consciousness. And Krishna describes in 8th chapter what is the downfall, or what is what is so not so good about this regulated sense gratification also. What is the negative point about it? Why are we not pressing on the fact of regulated sense gratification in Krishna consciousness? What's the problem? I do need, Shilpa
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Yeah, Mataji, because after going to the heavenly planets also, one comes down back to earth once the credit of the good karmas are over.
Yes, very nice. Thank you. So it's like going up and going down, going up and going down, up and down, round and round, like a ferry wheel. So there is no I'm sorry, this was made on the Mac and I have Microsoft. That's why you see these font differences. It's Gita summarized or this Kshatriya like that. Okay. So Krishna is discouraging that. Don't do that. But he's talking about karma kand. Why is he talking about karma kand? Because Krishna wants Arjun to understand his fighting tendency from wholesome view. It's not just that, okay, Krishna is saying if somebody is on a liberated platform, they will do what Krishna is saying. There's no question asked. I'll do it because Krishna said it. But if somebody is not on a liberated platform, then it is important to cover all aspects of one's existence. Okay, so that is why he's talking about this karma kandiya vichar, which I can understand, because Arjun is behaving like a conditioned soul. And Krishna is saying, don't go against your psychophysical nature, because if you go against your psychophysical nature, then that's sinful. Right? Krishna says this in 18th chapter. It is better to it is better to work according to one's own natural endeavor rather than copying somebody else's work. Do you know that verse in 18th chapter? There's a verse like this. And he gives another reason that those Kshatriyas are very happy to whom the fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of heavenly planets. So there is no sin because you're a Kshatriya, because it is your tendency, and stick to it. Okay, I'm not going to go into details. So duty of a Kshatriya is to protect citizen, to apply violence for law and order, conquer inimical kings. This is from Prabhupada's purport. Rule the world according to religious principles. Kshatriya is never meant for directly accepting the order of sannyas. Non-violence in politics may be diplomacy, but it is never a factor or principle. Okay, and then fighting, if he would win the war, he would enjoy the kingdom. If he would lose, he would be elevated to heavenly planets after death. So in that way, Krishna is trying to tell Arjun that it is not sinful to fight. And he says, if you do not fight, this is the other end. This is a very nice conversation. We must learn how to make decisions on this chapter. If you do not fight your religious duty, then you will certainly incur sin for neglecting your duty. Certainly. Avashya. And thus lose your reputation as a fighter. So this is number one reason. He gives a couple of reasons. If you don't fight, then what will happen? Number one, if you don't fight, you will actually incur sin and you will lose your reputation as a fighter. Don't think that they're going to say that you're such a big fighter and thank you so much for not fighting. The Kauravas are not going to say like this. Arjun, if you were fighting, then we would have certainly lost the war. Now we can happily go home and rule our kingdom. They're not going to say like this. Actually, they're going to say that you're not a good fighter. That's why you have run away. And it says, people will always speak of your infamy. That's number two. If you don't fight, then what will happen? Incur sin and will lose your reputation as a Kshatriya. And then you'll become infamous. And for a Kshatriya, infamy is worse than the death. Now, Kshatriyas is what mode of nature is most prominent in a Brahmana? What mode is most prominent in a Brahmana? Goodness, passion,
Mode of goodness.
Goodness,
very nice. What mode is most prominent in a Kshatriya?
Mode of passion.
What mode is most prominent in a Vaishya?
Passion and rajas.
Ignorance and passion.
Passion and rajas.
Passion and ignorance.
Passion and ignorance. Okay, what mode is most prominent in a Shudra?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. So mode of passion is like, okay, I'm like a go-getter. Like it's like a go-getter. But if you don't do that, then you'll be disrespected, and dishonor is worse than the death for a Kshatriya. Okay, and then says, great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. It's not that they're going to thank you Arjun for not fighting, but you will be deemed as a scary crow. Okay, you left it because you're so scared of our phalanx, of our strength of our army. You need to know these reasons. And then the enemies are not going to say thank you, and they're not going to print in newspaper that Arjun was so nice that he actually did not come forward to fight. But they will actually describe you with unkind words and scorn your ability, and what could be more painful for you. See, Krishna is so nice that Krishna does not want us to take our attention off of our own real self. He does not want us to go. What is the function of the mind? What are the functions of the mind? What are the functions of the mind? Thinking.
Contemplating.
Thinking. I didn't understand what you said. Thinking.
Feeling on unwanting, Mataji.
Thinking,
willing,
feeling.
Thinking, feeling, and willing.
Willing. Very nice. So thinking, feeling, willing. And what is the function of an intelligence? Function of the intelligence?
discernment,
Discrimination. Very nice. So function of the mind is thinking, feeling, willing. But the function of the intelligence is discrimination, discriminating. Which is higher out of the two, mind or intelligence? Which is higher?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. How do you prove that? What's your reference? How do you say that? Because I'm saying it. Don't believe in whatever I say. You have to give reference. Where is the reference? You're in Bhakti Shastri class. Can't talk just.
Mataji, in the third chapter, there is a reference where they have said that higher than the senses is the, the progressive steps they have shown.
Yeah.
Higher than first higher than any inert object are the senses. Higher than the senses is the mind.
And higher than the mind is?
Higher than the mind is the intelligence. Higher than the intelligence is the soul.
Very nice. So Indriyani parani ahur, Indriya se parastu manaha, parastu saha buddhi. So then the last line, I forgot what the meaning is, that above the intelligence is the soul. So Krishna is giving all these. Now Arjun is basing his decisions on the feelings, right? So he's at the mental platform, we can say that. But Krishna, he's not. If he's not ready to come to a spiritual platform, then Krishna is trying to bring him at least to the level of intelligence. So make your decisions based on the intelligence. So he's teaching us to discriminate. That's one way of making decisions in our own life. Are we basing our decisions based on feelings, or is there a concrete evidence from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, from using our intelligence? Okay, so that's a way of making a decision, which Krishna is teaching us. Not the highest yet, but it is according to the level of the listener. Okay, so what could be more painful? So heavenly planets, this I think has repeated 3 times already. You will be killed and attain the heavenly planets, or you will be winning and you will rule over the earthly planet. So get up with determination and fight. Then he gives his stake, because he's acting as a spiritual master. So the duty of a spiritual master is to give advice. But if we are not a spiritual master and if we are not asked for advice, never give advice. There's a saying in English that intelligent person never gives advice without a lawyer, which basically means that just don't give advice. Magar, if you live in India, then everybody will give you advice. Yeah? Then everybody will give you advice how to lead your life, when to get married, how many children to have, what job to do, right? So anyway, that's fine. I mean, that also has its own sweetness, but he's saying that fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing, you shall never incur sin. So remember last week we spoke about some of the things that Krishna tells us to be equipoised about. So he's saying these are some of the things. Last week we discussed the verse Matar Sparshas Kantaya, right? Sitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha. So there Krishna is telling us to be equipoised about happiness and distress, or hot and cold. Now here he is saying be equipoised about loss or gain, victory or defeat. Why is he telling to be equipoised? Because just do your duty, because in that way we'll never incur sin. This verse and the verse which is very famous in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya what is the verse 2.4?
Sarvadharman Parityajya.
Karmanyevadikaraste ma
Mafaleshu
phalesu
Kadacharan. Yeah, thank you. So Karmanyevadikaraste ma phalesu Kadacharan. So in that verse and this verse, our boundary of roles and responsibilities is made very, very clear. Because Krishna is saying that our role, our boundary of roles and responsibilities is only limited to the activity. Okay, it's not limited to the result of the activity. But what makes us not to act is because of the, yes, one of the reasons we don't act is because it's difficult. The activity might be difficult, or because I'm not sure about the result. Right? So that way, if the mind is giving all these feelings and fear, then one has to go to Guru Sadhu Shastra and refer that what is the discrimination? How do I base my decision? Then Krishna is saying that again, the roles and responsibilities are quite clear. So in life, if you ever get stuck, that should I do it or should I not do it? Because I don't know the result is going to be. I don't know what difficulties, the task looks very difficult. Then go back and see, is it going to enhance your Krishna consciousness? Is it according to your psychophysical nature? Then we have to just act without considering happiness, distress, loss, gain, victory, defeat, and by doing so, we shall never incur sin. Okay, so this is like a bird's eye view, Nishkam karma based on jnana or bhakti. So in particular, I'll start from the right side of the section. Okay, Nishkam karma or buddhi yoga or yoga of intelligence. This is setting a stone for the next part of the chapter. Perform the duty, and the duty has to be learned from knowledge and not speculation. I cannot like speculate that my duty is to open a slaughterhouse or my duty is to kill innocent people. No, it has to be based in knowledge from the shastras, and then that way we don't develop attachment to the results. This is what Krishna is saying, and that way we go towards a path of detachment or liberation. Detachment from the material element and attachment to Krishna's instructions. But in jnana, the tendency to develop attachment to Krishna is not there. It is only there towards mukti or Brahman realization. So it's not very fulfilling to the soul. Right? Prabhupada explains the meaning of the word vichitra. Vichitra in 3rd canto, 26th chapter, that Devahuti, Kapila Devi is giving instructions to his mother Devahuti. Vichitra means what? Where Prabhupada gives a very big lecture on, I think it's verse 26, so 326, 26. What is the meaning of the word Vichitra? Vichitra means variety. Okay. Prabhupada says that a conditioned soul is looking for variety. Anyone here eating the same dal roti every day? No variety? Same clothes every day? Closet has nothing else other than same. Yeah, anyone here like no variety?
No, Mataji.
No, not eating, just eating salt, no spices added because spices add variety of taste. Just salt, no oil, no ghee. Anybody here? Yeah?
No, madam. No, Mataji.
Mataji.
No variety in relationships, just sitting in a room and looking at the walls, no variety. We'll go mad, hai na? We'll go mad if there's no variety in our life because it's just so used to variety. So that's why this Brahman realization is very painful. Krishna says that in 12th chapter also. It's very painful. There is no variety. So, but in bhakti, one is also performing duty in knowledge. One is also developing spiritual detachment, but at the same time is developing spiritual attachment. Okay, and offering the results to Krishna with love and devotion, and that's why we advance towards Krishna. We're not advancing towards Brahmajyoti, because Krishna is the source of Brahmajyoti. So from jnana to karma kand, Krishna gives knowledge of the soul in this chapter. This is the left side of the slide. Then he gives karma kandya vichar, and now in this particular section, he's going to give nishkam karma, buddhi yoga or yoga of intelligence, which basically combines both jnana and karma, that perform duty in knowledge without attachment to the results, but detachment because of the knowledge that we are not this body, not the detachment because of the mental speculation. Why should I not be attached to the result? Because I'm not the body. And if I'm not the body, it's like, you go in a hotel on a vacation, and you don't like the bed sheets, or you don't like the wall paintings, and you don't like the paint color. Do you go, first thing you do is let's go to the market, let's buy some paint and let's start painting over, and let's buy some pictures and put them on the room in the hotel where I'm going to stay for maybe 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, 7 days, because I don't like it. Yeah, you'll do that. Very intelligent. Next time you go to a hotel or an Airbnb and then you don't like it, then you start renovating the place. Yeah, is it very good?
No, Mataji, definitely not.
Why? Why is it not good?
Just a temporary place, and of course, we would not like to waste our time or energy there and do all that.
Yeah, because you have other purpose. Yeah, there's a purpose, right? Thank you. So that way, we need to have a purpose. Swam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj says, "What is the best alarm clock in the whole world?" I think we have discussed this. This is not my brainchild. This is his brainchild, but I really like it. So I'm asking this question. What is the best alarm clock in the whole world? iPhone, Apple Watch?
Purpose.
Purpose. Have you seen children when they want to go, when they have a school day, they get up on time, and when they have a vacation, they sleep late? Have you seen
Yes,
it?
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
So the purpose is so important, and what am I actually getting up to? So the purpose, that why am I developing this detachment, is very important. And the reason why I'm developing detachment is because I need to understand and realize I'm not this body. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to use this body. I'm not going to keep this body, upkeep this, both subtle and gross body, both. That doesn't mean, but I'll use it for Krishna. And I'll use it to purify my existence, because it is a very important instrument in that way. Okay. Any questions so far before we go to the last part? So what have we discussed so far? Krishna has given answer to which part of Arjun's argument, in from verse 31 to 38? Which argument?
No enjoyment.
No enjoyment. And what kind
Loss
of
of enjoyment.
no enjoyment? What kind of thought process is Krishna using, and what makes Krishna use that kind of a thought process? What kind of a thought process is Krishna using? He already gave knowledge of the soul. What is what tool is he using now to give answer?
Arjuna's psychophysical nature.
Yes, so karma kandiya vichar, right? So, and then what is he saying? What are the key points we discussed? Somebody has to raise hand or speak up. You see, it is difficult for you, and it is also difficult for me. And difficult for people in India because they sit with full stomach, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think we discussed now. Kirti Mataji is in Australia. She's going to doze off. She has work tomorrow morning, right? And for me, and there's one more devotee, I don't remember who that devotee is somebody, we just died out of the bed. So we are still in the mode of ignorance, early morning, 4:30 in the morning. So, Nikhil Prabhu, okay. So, you see, difficult for everybody in this class is difficult to make. So, if you don't speak, and I'm the only one speaking, it doesn't add a spice. Anvaya Mataji, yes. What are some of the thought processes?
Krishna tells Arjuna that the enemies will scorn you.
Mm.
They will won't say anything good about you. So they will. So he's trying to tell him that you're acting on the mind, not on the intelligence. And then later now, as you told in 2.38, he says that you have to fight for the sake of fighting. Don't think about winning or losing. It's your duty to fight, and you fight without getting attached to the results.
Okay, very nice. So your roles and responsibilities. And then he's also saying that, very nice. Thank you, Mataji. I appreciate that. Because we are not in the liberated platform, our responsibility is still in the category of Varna and Ashram, and don't try to defame your varna as a kshatriya and your ashram as a grahastha. It's going to bring infamy. This is going to invite infamy. If somebody says that I am I'm a teacher, but when they go to the school or college or wherever they teach, and all they talk about is their family life, is that going to make them a very good teacher? My son does this, my daughter does this, my family members do this, but they're basically standing there to teach a subject, but they're talking like this in the class. Is it a very good, like they're acting according to their roles and responsibilities? Yeah?
No, Mataji.
So no, we are cheating. That's the tendency to cheat. Remember that. Okay, so now Krishna is going to go to the section of describing the Vedas. So Buddhi Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga, fight but without any reaction. In verse 39 to 41, if Arjun fights without being attached to the result of his fighting simply because it's Krishna's desire, with his mind focused on Krishna and is in full resolve, his fighting will bring no sinful reaction. But then from 42 to 53, in somewhere in the middle, it's not like a very clear discrimination. Krishna is encouraging Arjun to come above good and bad of the Vedic formulas by knowing that the purpose of the Vedas is to serve Krishna. So so far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical studies, Sankhya Yoga. Now explain it in terms of working without fruitive results, Buddhi Yoga. Acting in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. So Sankhya means what? Sankhya means analyzing. Sankhya also means counting. Right? Krishna has counted the qualities of the soul. Krishna has counted the varnas and the ashrams and the roles and responsibilities. Now he's going to say that how do we work without the fruitive activities or without the desired fruitive results. And that way we can actually not only not incur the sinful reaction, but also free ourselves from the bondage of the work itself. Understood the difference in bondage of the work? Bondage of the work, when somebody is doing a fruitive activity, let's say somebody is doing a sacrifice to attain some goal, some desire, regulated sense gratification. One is bonded by the work because of the desire, and one is also bonded by the result of the work. That's why we go up and down. No, we earn the credit or we debit our credit. But Krishna wants us to not go through the debit and credit cycle at all. That is why he's going to explain about Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga or Nishkam Karma. Nishkam Karma Buddhi Yoga is a yoga of intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence. Like we are working without material desire. Prabhupada defines this as Krishna consciousness. So there is a gradual process, and then there's a direct process. So look at the right side of the screen. The direct process is accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and fixing the mind on his devotional service. Gradually detach, gradually attain knowledge, and focus on Krishna's lotus feet. But if somebody is not ready to accept Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead from the get-go, then Krishna says, okay, fine, that's fine. Then go through the gradual process, which is gather the knowledge that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Perform the duties, then understand by performing duties without attachment to the result that there is a Supreme Spirit soul, and understands the Bhagwan feature, the Paramatma feature, and the Brahman feature, and then surrender to Krishna and understand that which is the highest. There is a verse, not Manushya Nam Sahasreshu, Kashitete Siddhaye, Radamapi Siddhanam, Kaschin Mam Veti Tatvataha. No, at the end, everybody comes to me. Krishna, if Krishna gives me memory, it will come. There's a verse that Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sutudlabha.
Bahunam Janmanamante, Mataji.
Jnanvan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sutudlabha. So Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadyante. So after many, many births and deaths, Jnanvan, when somebody is in knowledge, really in knowledge, Mam Prapadyante, surrenders unto me. and understands what Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Vasudeva, Krishna is everything, but some Mahatmas Durlabha. That person is very rare. Okay, so in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. This difference, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You can read the verse, but difference between Sankhya, inactive, and Buddhi Yoga are working. Why don't we go through it? We'll go towards the left side because this is a very commonly misunderstood activity. Go through the, focus on the green boxes, okay? So Jnana, which means Sankhya or analytical study, that what is soul and what is the material body, is an inactive way. Because I'll give you an example before we go down, that there could be, you could feel that in your life too, or we could feel that in our lives too, that we could be chanting Hare Krishna, we could be reading the Shastras, we could be discussing the Shastras. But does that really make us like very, very enthusiastic in Krishna consciousness, just sitting and reading and discussing? Or you read and then you discuss and then you go to the temple, okay, and then mop the floor while reading and hearing? What makes us more Krishna conscious? More like quickly, what activity?
The second one.
So yes, thank you. So inactivity. So basically, this jnana or sankhya is the not very active process. And what is the quality of the soul? Is soul inactive or active?
Active.
Inactive.
Active.
Somebody
Active.
said inactive. What makes you say inactive? Soul is so active that it can actually not stop acting even for a moment. You know, we're all dreaming even in our sleep. So we're even working, our body is still working even when we are in deep sleep. Right? The heart is still beating, the activities are going on. Why? Because the soul is so active, there's so much energy. So basically, jnana does not really lead to any activity. So that's why it's called inactive way, in that way. One can renounce work using intelligent and discriminating power and contemplate the fact that we are not the body, but we are the soul, and then they be established in a transcendental knowledge. But I told you the footnote, and the footnote is that this is the inactive way. Now, that's Sankhya. One can become Krishna conscious, but it's not going to then, to sustain Krishna consciousness, one has to go to the activity. So Nishkam Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, Yoga of Intelligence is working without fruitive results, acting in the knowledge. So there is an act and there is a knowledge, both. And working in consciousness or renunciation, not renouncing activity. So free from bondage of reaction, both. There is work going on and there is freedom from bondage of reaction, which is transcendental knowledge. Okay, so basically the verdict of this particular verse is the Sankhya and Buddhi Yoga are both ways of going to Krishna. But Sankhya Yoga has to end in activity of loving devotion service to Krishna. But if it just ends in just being a very knowledgeable person, but armchair philosophy, it's not very fulfilling according to the nature of the soul. Okay, understood? Understood or not? Understood or not? If you have not, this is the good time to ask. Understood? Okay. So in this particular path, which Krishna says this endeavor means, we are referring to Buddhi Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga, where there is activity and there is knowledge. There is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement is going to protect us from the most dangerous type of fear. So what is the most dangerous type of fear that Prabhupada refers to in the purport? What's the most dangerous type of fear?
Slipping down to the lower animal kingdom during the next birth.
Very nice. So losing a tendency to be a human anymore, or Aryan anymore in that way. So those who are in this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. The intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. This is a very famous verse. So this is the answer to which argument of Krishna for not fighting? Which argument?
Sinful reaction.
Sinful reaction.
Destruction of family traditions.
Destruction of family tradition. The destruction of family tradition answer is in the 3rd chapter. And what are the other arguments that Arjun gives? What are the other arguments that Arjun gives? Compassion.
Compassion, loss of enjoyment, fear of sinful reaction, destruction of family traditions, and indecision.
Very nice. So this is the answer to which one?
Enjoyment only, Mataji?
No, enjoyment हो गया ना, heavenly
Indecision,
kingdom,
Mataji.
earthly kingdom.
Indecision.
Indecision.
Indecision. Who said that?
Indecision.
Rupa Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Very nice. Indecision. You can decide. So why are you indecisive? Because you want this also, that also, that also. You want kingdom also. You want to be a Kshatriya also. You want your family also. ये भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए, सब कुछ चाहिए. We say those who are in this path are resolute in their purpose. And their aim is one. The intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Okay. So we want one thing, and that is to become totally Krishna conscious. One has to be very, very resolute. Then the decision is made. There's no confusion, right? The decision is made. Very nice verse. This is very big, so we'll go over next verse. Men of small knowledge act only for opulence and enjoyment, and therefore they follow and consider only those portion of Vedas that grant material boons. In these particular verses, this is a verdict that Arjun can say, right? Arjun can say that, okay, I'm going to be decisive. I'm going to have one resolute purpose. But Krishna, then what is the use of all this Vedic knowledge? Because fruitive activities and all these procedures are given in the book of knowledge, right? So what is the use? So now Krishna is going to discuss the other side, that what is the use or not a use. Vedas, if we approach the Vedas based on our desire to enjoy or fulfill our material desires, then that's not a very intelligent way of approaching the Vedic book. It's there because Vyasdev doesn't want us to end up in hell. It's there, but that doesn't lead us to Krishna consciousness. So that's why Krishna is saying men of small knowledge. So we can approach the Vedas and understand what is Om Tat Sat, and we can approach the Vedas and understand that if I want a very opulent lifestyle, or if I want a very good health, or very good wife, or very good family life, or very good son, then which portion of the Veda I have to go to. So we approach according to our own desire or tendency. So small knowledge is approaching the Vedas for opulence and enjoyment. But in today's world, if somebody is performing a big sacrifice, then that particular sacrifice looks very elaborate, right? Have you ever been to like such sacrifices like in your entire life, or any havans or yagyas where somebody is doing for inciting some grant? Or we have reference in the Shastras. Can you give reference from Srimad Bhagavatam where somebody is performing these fruitive activities and the elaborate arrangements? Yeah, what are the examples from the Bhagavatam?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I?
Uh-huh.
King Bali performs Vishwajit Yajna because he wants to rule all the three worlds.
Isn't that Ashwamedh Yajna? Okay.
And it is Vishwajit.
Vishwajit, okay. Okay, yeah, so
And
he's making arrangements.
Dashrath performs for the son, to beget. That is Kameshti.
Well, that we can't take example of Dashrath Maharaj because Lord Ram is deciding to come that way. So yeah, so
Okay.
Bali Maharaj I can say. Then we have Daksha. Hiranyakashipu is performing such big sacrifice. Daksha is doing it. Who else is doing it? Indra is doing all these Vishwamedh Yagyas. Prithu Maharaj, when he starts doing Ashwamedh Yagya, he steals the horse, right? Fourth canto.
Yes.
He steals 99 times he has performed, 100 times he wants to perform. Indra steals the horse 3 times because of envy that, oh my God, Prithu Maharaj will become another person who have done another successful Ashwamedh Yagya. So there are so many examples like that. Of course, Prithu Maharaj is a Saktavesh avatar of Krishna, but just to say. Sense enjoyment, which is bhoga, and material opulence, which is Ashwarya, are two obstacles for resolute determination of devotional service as samadhi. You know, Prahlad Maharaj says in 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, what does he say? When does the miserable life of a conditioned soul start? What does Prahlad Maharaj say? If we have to trace down, when does this miserable life really, really start? So when does it start? What does Prahlad Maharaj say? Who knows? 7th
When
canto.
we get attached to material opulences and
No, before that. Okay, thank you. Very nice. Very nice. I'm grateful you spoke. Yes, Rupa Mataji.
When we start thinking of enjoying ourselves,
Very
sense
nice.
enjoyment.
Yes, very nice. So he says the minute we start planning for our sense enjoyment, our miserable life of material existence starts just by planning. Today, I'm going to go and have this pani puri. Miserable condition starts. According to Prahlad, just by thinking like that. Today, I'm going to go and buy this jewelry for myself. Miserable condition starts. So, just by at that particular stage, miserable condition starts. I thought, why? Do you know why? Do you have that realization that why? Why does it start just by thinking? I'm not like eating. I'm not okay. Today I'm going to go to my favorite pizza shop and buy this pizza. Ah, it will be so nice. Miserable condition starts, according to Prahlad Maharaj. Why? Why does he say like that? You can be wrong. You don't think. You don't think what these instructions.
Mataji,
Ah.
dhyayate vishayan punsa. So you start contemplating and those 8 stages of fall down.
Okay,
That is so when you
that's
start
intellectual
planning,
way
you
of
are
understanding. Very nice. That's intellectualization. That's good. But that doesn't give realization. Intellectualization होता है जैसे कि ना, I'll give you example that somebody has been fired from their job, okay? And intellectualization is the person will say, well, I've been fired, but the company was going into losses. So they actually sit down and start doing the math. And anyway, the company has gone in losses. So many people have been fired. I'm one of them. People who are remaining will also get a pay cut. And then it'll take company 5 years to recover. So this is called intellectualization, reasoning. But this is not going to help. What really helps is that sit with your feeling that this is really sad. I'm sad. I'm really rejected. I feel dejected. I feel so down that my job is gone. Well, so the intellectualization is Dhyate Vishan Punsa. I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm not saying you're not quoting the Shastras. But what I'm trying to say is personal application of Bhakti Shastri is one of the goals. Got the
Mataji, when we
difference?
start thinking,
Yeah.
when we start thinking about enjoyment, sense enjoyment, we are looking for like we want to enjoy forever and ever, but that pizza, whatever, it is so temporary. After that, again, we want something more. So it's just temporary. So that also is the cause of.
Okay.
It's like
Is
it's
it?
not
Okay, that's
nothing
nice.
eternal about that.
Yeah. Well, I can counter argue if I play Devil's Workshop, I can say that you only get one life. So, so, but yes,
Mataji,
you're right.
by thinking about something, we develop an attachment to that particular thing.
Yeah, you're Anvaya Mataji's best friend. You both are best friends. Yes, this is right. I'm not saying this is wrong. This is perfectly right. Dhyate Vishan Punsa Sangasa Sanjayate. Sangasa Sanjayate Kama. Kama. Krodha Vijayate. Right? Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha. Right? You can go on and on. Sammoha Smriti Vibhishitam. Smriti Vibhishite Buddhinasha. Buddhinashat Pranashati. Right, that is right. But that's intellectualization. What I'm trying to do is
Mataji, because we are
realization.
turning away from Krishna.
Okay.
Turning away from Krishna, it means a miserable life anyway.
How are we turning away from Krishna? By thinking about a pizza. How? Go deep.
We
Help your
eating it for
classmate.
our self gratification, not to make give pleasure to Krishna.
So what? Krishna has given me this body. and has given me these eyes. Now I have a power to look anywhere I want. I can look at a movie, I can look at a beautiful girl, I can look at this. So, because Krishna has given it to me, I'm playing devil's workshop.
But the
Okay.
use, it is
The purpose is
literally
lost.
What's the
senses.
purpose? What's the purpose?
Mataji, by attaching to material things, we cannot then achieve resolute determination to devotional service.
Okay. Shiva Srinivas Prabhu, what's the purpose? How do you say purpose is lost?
Like everything has a purpose for pleasing Krishna. So when I think of a pizza, there is no what to say. It is my self sense gratification. So I am enjoying. So I become the center rather than Krishna or the Guru. There is no point in looking towards them. Rather, I will be looking only like I will be the center for everything. So
Okay.
which makes me entangle further.
Okay. Very nice. Okay. Thank you. See, Krishna talks about his opulences in 10th chapter. Very good points. Every has said, like, thank you for everyone's contribution and participation. He says in 10th chapter that in a man I am what? No, yes, I said ability, but it says out of all this, all the senses, what is Krishna? What is Krishna? What represents Krishna in his opulence in Vibhuti Yoga? I am the
Strength.
in the senses.
Mind.
Mind. Right? I am the mind. Right? So Krishna represents mind. He says himself, I'm not saying it, he himself says in 10th chapter. So when Krishna represents mind, and we discussed that the power of the mind is thinking, feeling, and willing, and I'm not using it for thinking, feeling, or willing, according to what it actually represents, then I'm going towards a miserable life. Okay, but everyone has given very nice points. Thank you. So irresolute determination is when I'm looking for sense enjoyment. So we discussed a little bit why sense enjoyment is not going to give us a resolute determination. And of course, we can give references, a lot of references, like Anvaya Mataji, Shilpa Mataji gave a reference, Rupa Mataji gave a reference. Plus, Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami says first instruction, right? Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, where Prabhupada talks about in the purport that anyone, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada says in his Anubhashya vocabulary that anyone who is roaming around in the world to satisfy the tongue and the belly will never be able to become Krishna conscious, right? And then material opulence. Why material opulence? I can be like rich. I don't have to worry about working and wasting my time in the material association at job. I can be. I'll stop here today, but I do want you all to understand why material opulence is an obstacle for resolute determination in Krishna consciousness. What is the problem? If I can be
We will
rich,
be
I don't have to
engaged
worry
in
about
sense enjoyment, Mataji. We will be engaged in sense enjoyment,
it.
Mataji.
Gives, yeah, okay, very nice. One point is it gives us the power. Money
Yeah.
gives us power to buy objects of sense gratification. So I know some people who actually, if they don't shop for 2-3 days, they feel like there's something abnormal with them. You know, like money is there, shopping is there. Why I'm not going? Too many days. Okay. Why? What else? What else? Give me a reference. Like Queen Kunti says a prayer like that. Janmashwarya Shutashi Bhi. Rupa Mataji is expert in that. What is it? Janmashwarya Shutashi Bhi Edhamana Madhapraman. Madan Mohan Krishna Lila Das Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, too much attached to material opulence can resolute devotional service to the Supreme Lord.
वही तो मैं पूछ रही हूँ. Why? Why the resolute determination does not take place?
Because Mataji, too much attachment is if we have too much attachment to someone, then we cannot bring Krishna to our heart, and we cannot think about him. We will think about what is in our heart and going on. So that is the reason that too much attachment is very dangerous.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a principle-based answer. You know, there's a difference. Have you read Nectar of Devotion? Rupa Goswami talks about principle in detail. Principle-based answer is good. Here I'm asking a little bit more detail. Thank you. Very nice. So yes, some insight before I open my mouth, and I may be limited in my understanding. Some insight why material opulence is. So you just read and not think.
Mataji,
Hanji.
it may be material opulence will make you forget Krishna.
How?
If it is because you're not using it for Krishna, you will get all the the mithya ahankar and the false ego, like I'm the karta, I'm the bhukta. This kind of a false ego, like normal ego. Also, people have it so difficult to break that ego, and with all this material opulences, like it's you can never your mind will never be fixed on Krishna, like
Yes.
as you said, Kunti Maharani in one of her verses has said that you give me vipatti after vipatti, obstacles after
Let's not go
obstacles.
there. Let's not go there. But okay, so yeah, so material opulences will give us, what did you say? What will it give us?
Forgetfulness.
Forgetfulness of Krishna.
Forgetful.
Okay. Forgetfulness of Krishna. Okay.
Also,
What else?
material,
Krishna.
Ah,
material affluence creates us to have fear to lose the whatever the material accumulation we have done. That fear will be there, and
yes.
will be able to lose whatever he has the affluence. So he won't
Yes.
surrender to God.
Yes.
And one more thing,
Yes. Shiva Srinivas Prabhu.
yeah, it makes one feel like independent of anything, like he's not dependent on anyone.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice points. Actually, you all covered everything. So material opulence is a base for generating anxiety, right? Anxiety means fear of unknown, that oh, what will happen to my opulence? This enemy may come. I may lose. Stock market price has gone down, or this has gone up, or this person made more money. Oh, I should have invested there. Oh my God, I bought Tesla and not whatever car is out there. So it's like a lot of time is wasted in. Maintaining and the anxiety and the fear. And of course, what Amya Mataji is saying that Edhamana Madha Praman. So Kunti Mahani says these are the intoxicants. Intoxication means that I'm losing touch with the reality, right? Madha. It becomes intoxicated. We are already intoxicated. Uh, when we say that no intoxication, one of the 4 vows is no intoxication, tea or coffee. So for a long time, I thought, what is the problem with tea and coffee? So one day, I got the realization, because I'm already so intoxicated. Why do I need more intoxication on top of what is already there? No, so much is there already. It's like when we are chanting Hare Krishna, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, chant with attention, because inattentive chanting is the mother of all the offenses. Hai na? So I said, why inattention? What is the problem in being like me checking my WhatsApp and doing Hare Krishna, or me talking to my child and saying Hare Krishna, What's the problem? So one day I like, because the mind, when we are chanting Hare Krishna, aren't our mind enough for inattention? Like, isn't it like brings up everything else other than the Hare Krishna when we are chanting Hare Krishna? So it's already bringing up so many things. And I add on to it by looking at this message or by talking to this person. Oh my God, how much, we're adding on to our problems. So material opulence, if not used in the right spirit, is actually adding on to our problem. We're already anxious. We're already fearful. We're already dying. Already growing old. Usme aur dal do. So that is why it's a obstacle for resolute determination of devotional service. Okay. I think we can stop here. 1 घंटे से ज़्यादा nobody can this. But this is a good verse. Read about this verse that Krishna says, and rise above these 3 modes, be free from all dualities and anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. See, gain and safety, we discussed this in verse number 44. That's why I discussed. that material opulence and sense enjoyment give a false sense of gain and safety, which leads to anxiety, which Prabhupada explains anxiety is a fear of unknown. Definition of anxiety that Prabhupada explains is fear of unknown. So we are standing on this platform of duality. Krishna says, become happy in what you really are, my part and parcel. Okay, so we discussed today Karma Kandiya Vichar, and then we discussed the importance of being thick and being very thick with one's own psychophysical nature and not just doing spiritual bypassing. And Krishna is saying it, I'm not saying it. And understanding it holistically, that what is one's responsibility, roles and responsibility. And then Krishna says all this and then says, okay, I have said enough about Sankhya now. Now I'm going to talk about Buddhi Yoga. And the first thing he says in Buddhi Yoga is that don't approach the Vedic knowledge with the tendency to gain something in the material world. Understand the Vedic knowledge to know that the end of the Vedas is Krishna. That's where we are. Questions, reflections, realizations. Every time I think I'll finish what we discuss and then I'm not able to. But then Mohan Krishna Lila Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, you were telling about the direct process to surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna and indirectly process. Mataji, I have one question. Sometime due to some uncertain reason, if we also know that the direct process, we have to know how to surrender. But anyhow, some problems created that we have to go to the next process that indirectly way. So, how to get rid of it, because some conditions are forces us to do that thing. So how to overcome about to do?
The direct process is Prabhu taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and taking to the process of the parampara. That's a direct process, like what Prabhupada gave us. Are you saying that sometimes we are not ready for a direct process, means we are not ready for the instructions of the Guru Sadhu Shastra, but we want to like merge into Brahma? That happens all the time. Brahma Jyoti, that happens all the time. You know, understand that how we are impersonalist. When you chant Hare Krishna, you can see that you're impersonalist here. Haven't you heard when people, Prabhupada says when two people are fighting, a married couple are fighting, and what is usually the fighting leads up to? I am frustrated and I'm going to go in the forest. I'm going to abandon this family. Yeah? Have you heard that kind of a fight? I'm going to abandon this family. I'm going to go live in the forest. Yes? I think I'm not connecting with your question, but I'm just giving you principle-based answer that we are impersonalist in many ways in our own lives. We are. So we actually have to do a conscious effort to become personalist. Right? I'll give you one example. If somebody is grieving for the loss of, let's say, their loved one or their job or something, you know, or a relationship, they're grieving. What is the most common advice people give to the person? What is the most common advice given? Somebody is grieving, and then the other person comes and gives advice. What is the most common? Tell me. Anybody can
Says that
yeah.
this might have happened for good cause only. If I give some other good path, a good way, don't be hopeless. Be strong and hopeful.
Yeah, see? Yeah, thank you. I am very grateful to you for being honest, Sir Prabhu. So don't be hopeless, be full of hope. It has happened for some good. You see, that's impersonalism. You know, because we don't want to deal with the hard feelings which are in the personal level. So just, you know, try to feel better. Just try to feel better. How can you feel better? Krishna is not saying, Arjun. Is he saying, Arjun, don't grieve for the anticipated loss of your father, of your grandfather, of your teacher, of your what do you say, cousins? Yeah, is he saying anywhere, don't grieve? Don't. He's saying anywhere in Bhagavad Gita.
No,
Feel
no,
better,
Mataji.
Arjun. Feel better. Don't. Is he saying? I'm telling you, Krishna is really there. Krishna can say, now I'm telling you, I'm God. For God's sake, I'm God. Now I'm telling you, but don't do that. Is Krishna saying like this? Is Krishna talking like that?
No.
He's not talking like that. He's not. So when we talk like that, we are impersonalist. We are not looking at the other person. We're just looking to make ourselves feel better. So Krishna is not trying to make himself feel better. Krishna is trying to give the reality to Arjun. The best way is to, okay, you sit with your feelings. They're true. Whatever you're feeling is true. But also try, whenever you're ready, understand that there's a different dimension to your existence. But sit with where you are. So Prabhu, what I'm trying to say is that we are very impersonalist in our day-to-day life. It's not that sometimes, it's always there. What do we do when a parent, okay, a children, they are crying, and they're just crying, a small child is crying. What is the usual reaction of a father or a mother or a caretaker? Is like, oh, you fell down from the slide. Oh, don't worry, let's go take a balloon. Let's go for ice cream. Yeah, we do that. Yeah. Is that a very personal way? It's not a personal way, because we don't let that child to actually harvest their feeling and express that, okay, it's hurting, okay, I have a reason to be sad and upset. We just want to make other person or child feel better. We are leading a very impersonalist life in the material world. Just become aware of it. Krishna is not saying all that. I have no idea if I addressed your question or I said something else. You have to tell me. Madan Mohan Krishna Leela Das Prabhu. Your name is so nice.
Yeah, Mataji, somehow it is connecting, but my question was different, Mataji, because I want to know that actually I giving my example, Mataji, that I know how to surrender to Krishna with the direct process, but due to some my family problem, I am going to do the job and doing this all these things, and lastly I have to surrender. You just sharing the picture of the two things, so I was connecting with that thing that I know how to surrender it, but anyhow I was not going the direct path. I was turning to the next path, that all this process of the next slide. So that is the question. So how to overcome after it? Uh, so how to? That's what the question.
You're saying that if you do a job, you will not follow a direct process? If I may ask for
Yes.
clarification.
Yeah, Mataji. How the brahmacharis do, how they directly surrender to the Krishna and do all the service rendered to Krishna. Then because they know how Krishna is and how to do the service. But anyhow, I know what is about Krishna. But anyhow, it is forcing me to go that second way and turn and around and again come to the Krishna. Due to some problems or something. So how to override of that?
I just heard a lecture yesterday, I think it was Krishna's arrangement, where Maharaj was mentioning that Prabhupada said that become like me. How do you become like me? Prabhupada said in the morning, I give Bhagavatam class, and in the afternoon, I go to a bank. So he's a sannyasi, Paramhansa devotee. So what makes, we have to analyze that, are we just keeping Krishna in the temple, or Krishna in the association of the devotees who live in the temple? Are we just limiting Krishna consciousness there? Or are we just trying to, become Krishna conscious wherever we are going? What are we actually trying to do with our life? So
Yeah,
Krishna does not care at the end of the day whether one is a brahmachari or a sannyasi or vanaprastha or grahast, doesn't care. It's not going to matter when we are dying. What he really cares is how much conscious you actually became of Krishna in your life. Who are the two foremost close associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who are they? Madan Mohan Krishna and Das Prabhu. In Chaitanya Chaitamrita we read, who are they?
Jagai and Madhai.
Who?
Jagai Madhai, Mataji.
I can't understand what you're saying. May I ask you to repeat?
Mataji, I can't understand your question, Mataji.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's two most close associates, who are they?
Nityanand Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit.
Well, in his Ante Leela, yes, you're right, but Ante Leela, maybe I should have specified. Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. Right? Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. So Ramananda Rai, is he a grahastha, brahmachari, vanaprastha, or sannyasi? What is he?
They are grasthas.
So Ramananda Rai is a grahastha, and he's one of the most close associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So basically what I'm trying to tell you, or our Sampradaya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 10 children. Right? Prabhupada had 5 children. So, it's like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. What matters is that are we trying to become Krishna conscious everywhere? He says, right? Yat karoshi, yat jahoshi, yat apnoti, so whatever you do, wherever you go, whatever you eat, always think of me. So if you have a responsibility to fulfill in your family and no one else can fulfill that, then fulfill it. Why not? Fulfill it with a lot of dignity, but also try to become more Krishna conscious. Actually, this can be an impetus to become more Krishna conscious. Because one will be very, very fearful that I lose my Krishna consciousness if I do that. So let me do more. Let me chant more. Let me remember more. Let me think of Krishna more. Okay, don't try to put blocks in your own life. There are already many blocks. I think everyone is getting
Okay,
tired
thank you,
of
Mataji, for the valuable suggestion.
Krishna. Okay, if there's no other question, reflection.